In the 14th question, we have to prove that AB is not equal to BA. And first part of the question, we are having a 2 by 2 matrix multiplied with another one. And the second part, we are having 3 by 3 matrices. So now we'll be doing the left hand side of the equation and check what's the answer. So first row with the first column, 5 times 2 would be 10. And minus 1 times 3 would be minus 3, so 10 minus 3. Then first row with the second column, 5 times 1 would be 5, and minus 1 times 4 would be minus 4. And now second row with each columns, the first column, 6 times 2 would be 12, and 7 times 3 would be 21, right? Now second row with the second column, 6 times 1 would be 6, and 7 times 4 would be 28. So now we have to just simplify. So 10 minus 3, it would be 7, and 5 minus 4, it would be 1, and 21 plus 12, it would be 33, and 28 plus 6, it would be 34. So this is the left hand side of the equation. Now we have to check the other part if it is equal or not, right? So now this matrix first and the other one second. Now doing the same, first row with first column for the first element. Now 2 times 5 would be 10, and 1 times 6 would be 6, right? Now second column, 2 times minus 1 would be minus 2, and 1 times 7 would be plus 7. And now second row, first column, 3 times 5 would be 15, and 4 times 6 would be 24. Now second row with the second column, 3 times minus 1 would be minus 3, and 4 times 7 would be 28. Now we have to just simplify. 10 plus 6, 16, 7 minus 2 would be 5, and 24 plus 15 would be 39, and 28 minus 3 would be 25. 39, right? Now if you check both the matrix, right, this is AB and this is BA, both the matrix final answer, if you check, both are different. So from this we can prove that this is not equal to this, because this has the answer as this, whereas this has the answer of as this one. So both are not equal. So the second part, we are having 3 by 3 matrices. So first we have to prove if these two answers will they be equal or not. Just the order is changed, which one is multiplied first, like that it's changed. So 3 by 3 matrix, it will be a bit lengthy process to do the multiplication, because we have 3 rows 3 columns, right? So now starting with the first row and first column, 1 times minus 1 would be minus 1, then 2 times 0 would be 0, and 3 times 2 would be plus 6. Now this is the first element. Now now second row, right? So second column, first row with the second column, 1 times 1 would be 1, and 2 times minus 1 would be minus 2, and 3 times 3 would be 9. Now first row with the third column, 1 times 0 would be 0, and 2 times 1 would be 2, and 3 times 4 would be 12. Now going to the second row and with each column, right? Now 0 times negative 1 would be 0, 1 times 0 would be 0, and 0 times 2 would be also 0. Now next one, second row with second column, 0 times 1 would be 0, then 1 times minus 1 would be minus 1, and 0 times 3 would be 0. Now second row with the third column, 0 times 0 would be 0, and 1 times 1 would be 1, and 0 times 4 would be 0. Now going to the third row, 1 times minus 1 would be minus 1, 1 times 0 would be 0, and 0 times 2 would be 0. Now third row with the second column, 1 times 1 would be 1, 1 times minus 1 would be minus 1, and 0 times 3 would be 0. Now third one with third one, 1 times 0 would be 0, then 1 times 1 would be 1, and 0 times 4 would be also 0. Now just simplify. 6 minus 1 would be 5, then 9 minus 2 would be 7, and 7 plus 1 would be 8. 12 plus 2 would be 14, and everything is 0, and minus 1 is only there, and here 1 is left. Here minus 1, 1 minus 1 would be 0, and here only 1 is there. So this is the answer for the left hand side. Now we have to do the right hand side. Same process as before. First row with first column, minus 1 times 1 would be minus 1, 1 times 0 would be 0, and 0 times 1 would be 0. So now going to the second column, minus 1 times 2 would be minus 2, 1 times 1 would be 1, and 0 times 1 would be 0. Now third column, minus 1 times 3 would be minus 3. Now 1 times 0 would be 0, and 0 times 0 would be 0. Now going to the second row, 0 times 1 would be 0, and minus 1 times 0 would be 0, and 1 times 1 would be 1. Now second row with the second column, 0 times 2 would be 0, and minus 1 times 1 would be minus 1, and 1 times 1 would be plus 1. Right? Now with the third column, the second row, 0 times 3 would be 0, and this with 0 will be 0, and this also with 0 would be 0. Now third row with each columns, 2 times 1, 2, 3 times 0 would be 0, and 4 times 1 would be 4. 0 and 4. Now 2 times 2 would be 4, and 3 ones are 3, and 4 ones are 4. Now going to the third and third, 2 times 3 would be 6, and this with 0 would be 0, and 4 with 0 would be 0. So now just simplify. So here minus 1 is left, 1 minus 2 would be minus 1, and only minus 3 is there. Here 1 plus 0 is 0, and 1 minus 1 is 0, and everything is 0, so it will be 0. Then 2 plus 4 would be 6, then 4 plus 4 8, 8 plus 3 11, and finally only 6 is left. So this is the answer for the second part. And if you check, both the answers are totally different, so both are not equal. This is not equal to this, right? It's not equal. So this is the solution.